On their way to join the rest of the gang all skating on a frozen pond, Charlie Brown confides in Linus that even though the holidays are approaching, he still feels depressed, despite all the presents and cards and tree decorating. After a reproach by Linus and a put down from Violet, he decides to pay a visit to Lucy in her psychiatric booth. Deciding that he needs to get involved in some real Christmas project, Lucy invites Charlie Brown to direct the Christmas play at the school. She sympathizes with Charlie Brown about holiday depression, always getting a lot of stupid toys instead of what she wants, real estate. On the way to the auditorium, Charlie Brown's attention is caught by Snoopy frantically and gleefully busy decorating his doghouse. When Charlie Brown demands an explanation, Snoopy hands him a flyer about the neighborhood Christmas lights and display contest. Charlie Brown walks away in disbelief at his own dog being bitten by the Christmas commercial bug and is accosted by Sally, who wants Charlie Brown to dictate a letter from her to Santa. She only asks him in the letter just to send money, tens and twenties, causing Charlie Brown to run away in exasperation at even his sister's secularization. Charlie Brown arrives at the rehearsals, but try as he might, he cannot seem to get control of the situation. The uncooperative kids are more interested in modernizing to put the dancing and lively music. Conversely, Charlie Brown is determined to not let the play become secularized by focusing on the traditional side of the story. Thinking the play requires proper mood, Charlie Brown decides he needs a Christmas tree. Lucy agrees with his idea and dispatches Charlie Brown to get the biggest aluminum Christmas tree you can get, maybe painted pink. With Linus in tow, Charlie Brown sets off on his quest. When they get to the tree market, Charlie Brown zeroes on a small sapling which, ironically as well as symbolically, is the only tree in the lot. Linus is reluctant about Charlie Brown's choice, but Charlie Brown is convinced that with decoration it will be just right for the play. They return to the auditorium with the tree, only to be berated by the girls, especially Lucy, who says, "Can't you even tell a good tree from a poor tree?" Second guessing himself, Charlie Brown begins to wonder aloud if anyone knows what Christmas is about. Linus quietly says he can tell him and walks the center stage to make his point. Under a spotlight, Linus quotes the second chapter of the Gospel of Luke, verses 8 through 14 from the King James Bible, in which angels from heaven tell a group of initially frightened shepherds of the birth of the baby Jesus and instruct them as to where they can find the infant. Hearing this, Charlie Brown begins to realize that he does not have to let commercialism ruin his Christmas. With a newly found sense of inspiration, he quietly picks up the little tree and walks out of the auditorium, intending to take it home and decorate and show the others that it will work in the play. He stops at Snoopy's decorated doghouse, which now sports a first prize blue ribbon for winning the display contest. Letting his dog's commercialism roll off his back, Charlie Brown takes an ornament off the doghouse and hangs it on the street. But the ornament's weight is too much for the small branch and pulls it to the ground, much to the shock of Charlie Brown, who says, "I've killed it! Oh, everything I touch gets ruined!" and walks away with his head hung in shame. The rest of the gang, also having heard Linus's recitative, began to realize they were too rough on Charlie Brown and quietly followed him to the auditorium. Linus goes up to the little tree and gently props the dropping branch back to its upright position ornament, and all saying, "I never thought it was such a bad little tree," then wraps his blanket around the base of the trunk and adds, "It's not bad at all. Maybe it just needs a little love." The rest of the children grab their decorations off Snoopy's doghouse and add them to the tree. When they have finished, even Lucy concedes to Charlie Brown's choice, saying, "Charlie Brown is a blockhead, but he did get a nice tree." The children then start humming "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," and Charlie Brown returns to demand to know what's going on. When he sees what they have done with the tree, he cannot believe his eyes, and all the gang shout, "Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown." At this point, the children, joined by Charlie Brown, begin singing the carol in earnest as the snow begins to fall.